The municipality of Dysart et al. Since 1867.
So right now, we have 27 volunteers on the department. I'm the only full-time paid. The rest are volunteer. They're paid on call so that they carry a pager or radio, and when a page comes in, then they go to the call, and it tells you the type of call and where the call is. Well, the green flashlight's been out now almost, I think, 25 years. It's a way of identifying first the volunteer firefighters. It's a courtesy that people hopefully will pull over and let them by so that they can get here as quickly as possible, because time is an essence in most of our calls. Firefighting is probably about a third of what we do. Half of what we do are medical calls. We assist the ambulance on a variety of codes that they need assistance with, where two paramedics can't do proper CPR when they're coming in. One has to drive, the other's in the back, so a firefighter will ride with them to help do CPR.
Yeah, it's not just putting the wet stud on the hot stuff. We're not just the Halbert basement savers, as most people like to call us. People joke about getting called for a cat in the tree, but you can ask Miles, we've been called for that, or seagulls stuck in a hydro line. Or
animals out on the ice. People say, well, why do you bother going to them? Because usually the animal will get back in on their own. But before the animal gets back in, what will happen is people will go out to rescue it, and now we got somebody that's untrained without the proper equipment out there, and we have to go rescue them. So we take the initiative and go out to rescue the animal.
There's also the awareness bit. Last week we did our campaign for smoke detectors, and went around. People may think it's a bit of a nuisance, but it's letting people aware, like, it will save lives. Make sure people are working smoke detectors in the home and where they're supposed to be.
The difference between a sort of a career firefighter versus a volunteer firefighter is the time frame. A career firefighter gets into it and they do the training maybe at school, a pre-services course, and they get the training right then, and they're into it a lot more hours in a day than we are. We also have what's called a drag rescue device, which you might find interesting. If you get in trouble, the DRD on the back of our strap here, another firefighter can come along and grab a hold of that and pull. So you can see there's the other side of the strap. It actually comes in and it's wrapped around our arms and shoulders, so it gets right into the armpits so that you got a good grip on somebody to pull them out. Our department there, we want you to hit 60% of calls and 60% of training nights. So our training nights are every Monday, so you want to be here 2 Mondays a month, 3 Mondays a month to make that commitment.
I like to know I got guys that want to train, want to get better, and always have something to learn and improve.
Specific skills would probably be, I guess, the first aid. Like I learned basic first aid and like swimming lessons, but we took it to a higher level. Is learning how to deal with patients the proper way and all that stuff, and learning the safest way to do everything that we do in this department.
In firefighting, you can't do it yourself. There's just no way. One of our ladders, it takes 6 of us to put it up.
There's always a bunch of different things going on at the same time and a bunch of different people doing it, and you have to be communicating and working together, so it's a huge teamwork effort.
We don't all have to be best friends outside of here. I like to think most of us are, but from the time those tones go off till the time we're cleared, you have to know that you have each other's backs. You have your back no matter what.
In your mouth to help you see a little bit.
It's physically challenging, for sure, being a smaller person, and it can be mentally challenging too, because a lot of the times you're dealing with people who are very vulnerable and are in situations that they're not great, whether it's been a car accident or if it's a family member of someone who's having some severe medical issues.
especially lately, people realize that we do see a lot of gruesome stuff, and the worst is sometimes it's people you know.
We're going to call here, especially through the winter time when the population is a lot lower. Odds are at least one of us knows who we're going to see.
Over the 37 years, it's happened a couple of times. Remember one where one of the firefighters, it was their niece, in a car accident, killed. And it's tough dealing with situations like that. It can be a relative, family, whatever. It could be just your neighbor, but you have to deal with it.
There's definitely a few that stuck in my mind for years, that they're severe.
Usually the guys have been good, and they may have trouble after for a while, and that's when that critical incident stress management comes in. A lot of firefighters won't admit that they're having problems, but at home it comes out. They can be irritable or not sleeping properly, so sometimes that's one way of getting around it. But usually they support one another here right after the call, and that makes a big difference.
Obviously we do a lot of medical. There are several medical calls, car accidents, you know, whether we're reviving someone or at least just talking to a child in the back seat and making sure they're okay and comforting them. It gives you a warm feeling in a bad situation, that's all.
First, they have to be dedicated. They got to want to do it. The family have to support them, and usually their boss has to support them too. We've been really fortunate in Haliburton that we have some good employers that say, you know, yeah, if you get a call, by all means, go and, you know, help somebody else out. Some people, when they see what actually you do, they're just not cut out for it, and so you find out pretty quick that way.
What most of us are here for is to help the community, and that's why we, you know, get out of bed at 3 in the morning for someone who's having a medical issue or a car accident, is to help people. My dad was on the department when I was growing up, and I looked up to the people on the department, and now that I'm on it, I can't imagine my life not being on it. It's just a huge part of my life and who I am.
I love it. I couldn't ask for a better job or ask for anything better to do. I love it.
I could have retired 2 years ago I had enough time in, but I enjoyed it, doing this.
Bad things happen, unfortunately, but knowing that someone needs to be there to help is that it's going to be me. It's going to be these guys. That's what I get out of it.
It's become my passion. You know, I'd quit my day job in a minute if we had a full-time department here. Absolutely.